The book is outstanding, and you know it's more than just sitting across from someone and hearing their story. This detailed history of how you became who you are is incredibly educational for people. They can realize, oh, he wasn't always this guy. Hi, it's Health Clips Daily. Let's dive in. This shows what's really up about people. Seeing someone like you who once, how many ultramarathons did you run in a row? I ran 808 weekends in a row. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. 800s means 8 100-mile races. 8 weekends in a row. A 100-mile race typically takes 6 months to recover from. That's an insane accomplishment. You think of someone like that as a static, fully formed version, but you don't usually get to see the rise and fall and rise again of someone like you. It wasn't just a straight line from inspiration to becoming this badass. No, it wasn't. It's like that show Will Smith plays in, The Pursuit of Happiness. I never saw that. It's a great movie, but it's not really about happiness. It's about struggle, overcoming, and making it. I fell on my ass. I thought I reached the top of Mount Everest. Then my neighbor's house just slid right underneath me. I had to start from scratch again. Scratch became my friend. That's how you put the book together. Going up, going down, and going up again. Just a raw, honest version of how my life was. It was so in-depth to go back through your life with a fine-tooth comb that I almost felt embarrassed to put it out there. That's what I want you to understand. Even right now, talking to you, I'm in the car for an hour getting pumped up because I'm a shy, introverted guy. I've been that way since I was 6, standing on stage, afraid to say my line. I walk off early. That's still me, fighting that same dude every day. So people think, oh my God, you're so crazy or so evil. I'm just trying to stay locked into myself, stay focused on what I have to do in life. That's part of why this book is so good, because you're so honest about your vulnerabilities and how you overcome them. When people see someone who's a beast, who's achieved great things, they assume they're different from me. But then you hear about your insecurities and pitfalls, and you realize, oh shit, those are the same things going on inside me. Maybe I just never summoned that strength. I really started recognizing this when I began overcoming myself. When I got around real alpha males, hard men, I always thought they had more than me. But once I got close enough to the best of the best, I saw we're all just as fucked up. It's just that they hit their struggles better or differently because of how they were raised. I realized just because I look different, being the only black kid in school, facing rejection, doesn't mean I'm separate from everyone else. We all have stories, struggles. That gave me courage. Watching these tough, real men helped me see we all have some messed up life in some way. Some of us just don't have the guts to talk about it. That's how I found the guts to be open about mine. There's sheer purity in physical pursuits. How long you can stay in the pool, how far you can run, how much you can push past the urge to quit. It dissolves social status and perceptions. It's about who you are right now. That's it. That's real. I've learned that life is one big psychological warfare, playing on yourself. The most important conversation you'll ever have is with yourself, and the story you tell yourself is often so fucked up, so wrong, so misguided. That internal dialogue shapes your reality. I started creating a new war, fighting the hateful, self-destructive stories I told myself. I told myself, hey man, you have these tools. Your life was the perfect training ground for where you need to go. All the beatings, bullying, struggles, those were the training. The truth is, I was being prepared for this moment. I started flipping my perspective. This isn't what was done to me. It's what I was made for. From 18 to 20, I was training to survive anything, training for what life had in store. You have the advantage of everyone else. Your struggles shape you. I realized that struggling, fighting, and suffering is what makes you stronger. I turned it all around. That's how I became a master of my mind. That mindset sets me apart from most people. When I look back at my childhood, an abusive father, losing a stepfather who was about to help me escape, it was all part of my process. Those hardships forced me to start from scratch and develop a mindset that refused to quit. I had to go back and see where it all began, find the root of the pain, and I realized it was him. I had to forgive him to stop living in hate, because holding on to that hate kept me repeating my failures. I couldn't carry that hate any longer. I had to dump the baggage, understand myself through him, and see him as the origin. He grew up rough, insecure, with a lot of kids, and that insecurities trickled down and out onto me, my brother, and my mom. He was a mess. My mom got married multiple times, 3 times just in 6 months, and I didn't want to talk about some of the stuff that happened afterwards, like the law stuff. We didn't have a peaceful talk, but I made peace with him within myself. We left that conversation with tension, but I knew I couldn't hold on to hate. I was tired of failing and repeating old patterns. I had to start understanding myself. That's what he was there for. He was the origin. I needed to understand why he was so evil to my mom, me, and my brother. Once I studied him without judgment, just to learn, I saw his tough upbringing and deep insecurities. That's the real story. By understanding the origins, I started to heal. I realized that the greatest power comes from facing your pain, not running from it. I tell myself, your knee isn't just hurting, it's a sign something else is wrong. I had to go back to the root, find that it was him. That's how I started healing, by connecting the dots of my past. I've made peace with him now, not through words, but within myself. No hate, just acceptance. He was a vicious man, yes, but I had to stop living in that anger. I was carrying the pain, and that pain kept me falling back into old failures. You've got to figure out your roots, and that's how I learned I was being trained for a bigger purpose. Those struggles and hardships, those dark places, they all prepared me for what's ahead. That's how I flipped the story. Your struggles aren't just what's wrong with you. They're part of your training ground. Once I saw this, I realized my setbacks, my pain, they're what make me stronger. Working out, focusing on mental toughness, and facing your fears, these are the tools you use to build resilience. It's about who you become in the process, not just what's happened to you. That's the real core of it. When you separate yourself from ego, from insecurity, and give yourself honest advice, you see the way forward. That voice inside, your inner guidance, it's not just you. It might be what some call divine guidance. It's guiding you towards pain, accountability, truth. Once I understood that, I started listening more. You've got to look at yourself raw, see what you're really made of. Early on, I was trying to impress by doing crazy things, like shaving my head, dressing funny, just to stand out. But deep down, I was just trying to find a way to get people to notice me, to be accepted. That's a long road. Now, I look back and see how far I've come, how I've had to grow into this version of me who's serious, focused, and honest. I've learned that life is about being real with yourself and embracing your struggles to grow. So, the journey was about reinventing my mind, finding humor in suffering, forgiving my past, and facing the truth. I'm not here to be perfect, but to be authentic, perfectly imperfect and constantly evolving. That's the real power, embracing the struggle, the failure, and the growth. Thanks for listening. Remember, your story is your strength. Keep pushing, stay honest, and unlock your true potential. Subscribe for more in-depth mental toughness tips every day.